The last time they made such move was back in 2012. Now, with more draft picks available after the trade involving Mick Parsons, the team finally has the power to make a bold move again. Report says that the owner Jerry Jones and his front office have identified two top players they are really like. These players are Caleb Downs and Ruben Bain Jr. Both players are considered elite talents and could become stars in NFL. However, there are some concerns. Caleb Downs has had injury worries, especially with his knee, while Ruben Bain Jr. has questions about his physical measurements. Even with these risks, the Cowboys might still take a chance because they need top talent on the defense. Now, let us talk about the biggest problem for the team right now, the linebacker position. After losing key players and dealing with the injuries, the Cowboys are left with a very limited option. One of the few reliable players is Demarshon Overshawn, but even he has not fully taken control of the defense yet. This brings us to an important role called the green dot. This is a player who communicates with the coaches during the game and tells the rest of the defense what to do. Usually this role is given to linebacker because they stand in the middle of the defense and can see everything clearly. Right now, the Cowboys do not have a clear leader for this role, which is a big concern. There is an interesting idea being discussed right now. Could a safety take this responsibility? The Cowboys recently added Jalen Thompson, and he is known for being smart and experienced. Some people believe he could handle the green dot role. However, this is not a perfect solution because safeties do not always play close to the line of the scrimmage. That makes communication more difficult during fast plays. So, while it is possible, it may not be the best option for the team. Because of this, the Cowboys are also looking at free agents. One name that stands out is Bobu Okeleke. He is a proven player with years of experience. He has made many tackles in his career and has already handled the green dot role before. Bringing in a veteran like him could help to stabilize the defense and provide the leadership that the team currently lacks. But the Cowboys are not only focusing on linebackers, they are also looking closely at the cornerback position. Defense in today's NFL requires flexibility, and having strong cornerbacks is very important. One player getting a lot of attention is Ovion Talel from the Clemson. He recently had a meeting with the Cowboys, which shows serious interest from the team. Talel is seen as a player who can solve multiple problems. Even though he is not the biggest player, he is very quick and can play different roles, including nickel corner. This is important because the Cowboys want to keep Dallon Bland on the outside, where he performs best. Coaches believes Brand can shut down one side of the field, so adding a strong nickel corner would make the defense more competent. However, there are still concerns about Talel's health. He had a hamstring injury that prevented him from finishing workouts early. The Cowboys are carefully studying this situation before making a final decision. Health is always a big factor when it comes to draft picks. As we get closer to draft, one thing is very clear. The Cowboys are focused on rebuilding their defense. The trade of the Micah Parsons created a big hole but it also gave the team new opportunities with extra draft picks, possible trades, and free agent option. The Cowboys have many ways to improve. Fans should expect aggressive moves. This could include trading up and signing experienced players and drafting young stars who can make an immediate impact. The team knows that defense wins games, and they are trying to build units that can compete at highest level again. So as the 2026 NFL draft gets closer, excitement continues to grow. Will the Cowboys trade up for superstar? Will they find their defensive leader, or will they surprise everyone with an unexpected move? One thing is certain, the big changes are coming. Name in the 2026 NFL draft, a player who could completely change the Cowboys defense, a player who could turn a weak position into a major strength. His name is Mansour Delane. We trust that this name you need to remember and to know. First of all, you have to ask yourself, who is Mansour Delane? Mansour Delane is a talented cornerback who played a college football at Louisiana State University. He stands at 6 feet tall and weighs around 187 pounds. He has a strong build, great speed, and excellent awareness on the field. Before joining Louisiana State University, Mansour Delane started his college career at Virginia Tech. Interestingly, he was recruited there by Lion Smith, who is now part of the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff. Even though Lion Smith never got a chance to coach him at Virginia Tech, there is already a connection between Mansour Delane and the Cowboys organization, and sometimes those connections matter a lot when it comes to the NFL league draft. Right now, Mansour Delane is considered one of the top cornerbacks in the entire 2026 draft class. Some experts believe he could be the first cornerback selected in many mock drafts. He is projected as a top 5 pick and almost always within a top 10. Now, here is where things get interesting. The Dallas Cowboys are expected to pick around number 12. That means teams like Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, and Miami Dolphins could select Delane before the Cowboys even get a chance. So if the Cowboys really want him, they may need to trade up in the draft, or they will have to hope that those teams choose different position instead. This creates a very dramatic situation for the Dallas. Do they stay patient and take the risk, or do they make a bold move to secure one of the best defensive talents in the draft? Now, let's talk about why Mansour Delane would be such a big addition. The Cowboys have made some moves at cornerback position recently. They added players like Kobe Durant and Delion Kendrick. They also still have key players like Dallon Bland and Shavon Lever, but they are still questioned. There are concerns about consistency. There are concerns about health. And there are still a need for true number 1 cornerback. That is where Delane comes in. He has the ability to guard the opposing team's best wide receiver. He is very strong in man-to-man coverage. He reads the game well and reacts quickly when the ball is in the air. He is also the fast enough to stay with the quickest receivers down the field. Even though he may not have the longest arms compared to some players like Dallas liked in the past, his performance on tape shows that he is an impact player and not just a good player but a potential star. Another big factor in the Cowboys defensive coordinator, Christian Parker. Christian Parker has a strong reputation for the developing young defensive backs into elite players. Under right coaching, Mansour Delane could grow into all-pro level quarterback. That means not just a starter, but one of the best players in NFL at his position. This combination of the talent and coaching could be very dangerous for the opposing teams. If the Cowboys manage to draft Delane, their entire secondary could change overnight. Imagine a lineup with Mansour Delane, Dallon Bland, Chavon Lever, and Kobe Dulant. That is depth. That is competition. Of course, that is a quality. Suddenly, what used to be a question mark become a strength. The Cowboys would have a flexibility as well. They could move players into different roles, including the slot position, depending on matchups. That gives the defense more option and makes it harder for the offenses to attack weakness. Of course, nothing is granted. There is risk and questions. There are still some important questions like, will Dallon Bland return to the full health? Will Chavon Lever stay fit throughout of the season? Can the entire group build chemistry quickly? There are real concerns, but if things go right, this could be one of the best secondaries in the league. Mansour Delane is not just another draft prospect, he is a potential game changer, a player who could redefine the Dallas Cowboys defense for the years to come. But getting him will not be easy. The Cowboys may not be Maybe they're aggressive, of course. They may need to take a risk, and they may need to little bit of luck. So the big question is this: should the Cowboys trade up to draft Mansour Delane, or should they stay patient and trust the board? Let me know in your what do you think in the comments. And this is the end of the story. We'll see if the Mansour Delane will join the Dallas Cowboys in this 2026 NFL draft. And we can say that thank you for watching us, and if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. And we will break down the latest free agents moves that the team did right, what they got wrong, and the 3 smart signings they can still make while staying under salary cap. So Dallas Cowboys have been very active this offseason. They made several moves in free agents, bringing in new players to strengthen the roster. Some of these moves were exciting, while others raised questions among the fans. One of the biggest additions was trading for Rashan Gary. At first, many people criticized this move. Some believe the Cowboys gave up too much for him. However, when you look closely, this trade actually makes a lot of sense. Gary is a strong and consistent defensive player. He fills a major needs on the defensive line, and the Cowboys need help with their pass rush. And Gary gives them exactly that. He is experienced, powerful, and ready to contribute immediately. This was clearly a win-now move for the Dallas. Another area where Cowboys improved was in the secondary. They added players like Jalen Thompson, Kobe Dulant, and Delion Kendrick. These are not the biggest names in football, but they bring something very important, such as versatility and depth. The new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, is known for working well with defensive backs, so these signings were clearly part of the bigger plan. The Cowboys want to build a flexible and intelligent defense that can adapt to different situations. This was another smart move by the front office. However, not everything went perfectly as planned. One of the biggest mistakes the Cowboys made was not re-signing Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney finished last season very strong. In the final games, he showed that he can still be a dominant force in the defense. Letting him go creates a gap in the pass rush rotation. Even through the Cowboys added Lash and Gary, keeping Clowney would have made the defensive line very, very strong. This decision is still confusing to many fans, but the biggest concern right now is the linebacker position. The Cowboys currently have a very thin group at linebacker. They have young players like DeMarvion Overshawn, but they lack experience and leadership in the middle of the defense. And this is where veteran players become very important. And that brings us to first potential signing. Let's talk about on Bob Wagner. Bob Wagner is the future Hall of the Fame player even at 35 years old. He is still playing at high level. Last season he recorded over 160 tackles along with the sacks and interceptions. This is incredible production for a player at his age. More importantly, Bob Wagner brings leadership. He understands the game at very high level. He can organize the defense, guide young players, and make big plays when it matters most. For the Cowboys, signing Wagner would solve a major problem instantly. The only challenge is money. He previously signed a deal worth of around $9 million. The Cowboys would need him to accept less to fit under their budget. But if they can make it worth, this would be a perfect move. Now let's move to another position of the need, edge rusher. If the Cowboys do not bring back Clowney, they need another experienced player on the edge rush. This is where Derek Barnett comes in. Derek Barnett is a Super Bowl champion. He has experience playing in big games and strong defenses. Recently, he had solid seasons with the consistent sacks numbers. He may not be a superstar, but he is reliable. He can rotate in, provide pressure, and add depth in defensive line. For a team trying to compete at high level, players like Barnett are very valuable. Again, the question is cost. His market value is not cheap, but the Cowboys can negotiate a lower deal. He could be a smart addition. Finally, let's talk on running back position. The Cowboys already have Javonte Williams, but they still need depth behind him. That brings us to the Hassan Haskins. Hassan Haskins is not a big name, but he is a hardworking and reliable player. He has experience and he takes care of the football. In his career, he has very few mistakes, which is important for the backup running back. He can contribute on special teams and provide support when needed. Most importantly, he is affordable. His contract would fit easily within the Cowboys' budget. That kind of the low-risk signing can quietly improve the team. So, what does all of this mean for the Cowboys? It means the team is close. They have made good moves, they have improved in key areas, but they are not finished yet. They still need leadership at linebacker. They still need depth on the edge rush, and they still need support in the running game. If the Cowboys can make just a few more smart budget-friendly signings, they can turn this roster into a serious contender. At the 2026 season approach, as this season is coming, every decision matters, of course. Will the Cowboys sign Bob Wagner and fix their linebacker problem? Will they add another edge rusher like Delek Barnett, or will they focus on the draft instead? These are the questions that will shape the future of this team. So by now, thank you for watching us. If you enjoyed this breakdown, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this as you never miss any breaking news, draft updates, and big Cowboys news. Today we are talking about something very important. 2026 NFL draft is getting closer and closer, and this could be one of the most important drafts in recent history for the Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because Dallas has 2 first-round picks, and after the disappointing 2025 season, this team needs real impact players. The Cowboys finished with 7 wins, 9 losses, and 1 teal records last season. That is not the standard of this franchise. That is not the standard for this franchise, Dallas Cowboys. The biggest problem, of course, was clearly the defense. It struggled badly, and many people even call it one of the worst defenses in the team history. That is why most analysts believe Dallas will focus heavily on the defense in the first round. But here is where things get interesting. The Cowboys front office has said they will take the best player available. That means even if the team needs defense, they could still surprise everyone and pick an offensive player. Now let us break down what different draft experts are predicting. First, let us talk about Phil Yates from the ESPN. He believes the Cowboys will go all in on improving the pass rush with the 12th pick. He has Dallas selecting Rueben Bain Jr., an edge rusher from the Miami. Bain is known for his power and his ability to destroy offensive lines. And last season he had 9.5 sacks, which shows he can get the quarterbacks consistent. Then at pick number 20, Phil Yates predict another edge rusher, Zion Young from the Missouri. Yes, that means 2 edge rushers in the first round. Some people might think that is too much, but a strong pass rush can completely change a defense. If you can pressure the quarterback, everything becomes easier for the rest of the defense. Now let us move on. Bruce Feldman from the Athletic. His prediction is much more aggressive. He believes the Cowboys could trade up to the 3rd overall pick to select David Bailey from the Texas Tech University. That would be a huge move, and Bailey is seen as a game-changing player, someone who can bring energy and dominance to the defense front. At pick number 20, Feldman has Dallas going to offense with Denzel Boston and a wide receiver from the Washington. Boston is a big and fast receiver with strong hands. Over the last 2 seasons, he caught 125 passes and scored 20 touchdowns. That kind of the production is very impressive. And adding a weapon like that could help the Cowboys' offense become more explosive. Next, we look at Lance Zierlein from the NFL.com. This is a website, and he believed the Cowboys might get lucky at pick number 12, and he predicts Sonny Styles, a linebacker from Ohio State, Styles is a powerful and smart defender who can stop the run and chase players all over the field. At pick number 20, Zielen has Dallas selecting Colton Hood, a cornerback from the Tennessee. This is not a flash pick, but it is a necessary one. The Cowboys secondary needs help, especially in coverage and tackling. Hood brings toughness and reliability, and it can be very important for the Dallas Cowboys. And now let's talk about on Matt Millen from the ESPN. His prediction focuses heavily on secondary. At pick number 12, he has Dallas selecting Jermond McCoy, a cornerback from the Tennessee. McCoy is a physical defender with excellent movement skills. Even though he missed the last season due to injury, his previous performance showed elite talent. At pick number 20, Miller predicts Emmanuel McNeil Wallen, a safety from Toledo. This player brings size, strength, and ability to create turnovers. He is especially good at forcing fumbles and stopping plays in open field. The Cowboys need young talent at safety, so this pick makes a lot of sense. Finally, we look at Chadi Leuter from the NFL.com. He also predicted Sonny Styles at pick number 12, showing that multiple experts believe Styles could fall right into the Dallas hands. Then, of a possible trade, he has Dallas selecting a Colton Hood later in the first round. This would allow the Cowboys to gain extra picks while still filling a major needs at cornerback. So, what does all of this tell us? It tells us one clear thing. The Cowboys are expected to focus heavily on the defense. Edge rushers, linebackers, and cornerbacks and safeties are all on table. This team needs playmakers who can change games, create turnovers, and stop opponents. But do not forget, there is still a chance Dallas could surprise everyone. If a top offensive player is available, they might take him. That is what makes this draft so exciting. The Cowboys have a real opportunity here. 2 first-round picks can change the future of the team. If they make the right decision, they could rebuild their defense and become serious contenders again. So, now I want to hear from you. Which player do you want the Cowboys to draft? Should they focus only on a defense, or do you want them to add an offensive weapon? Comment below, let me know in your thoughts, and do not forget to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys news, rumors, and draft updates. Thank you for watching, and as always, go Cowboys. We update you the massive and breaking news about Dallas Cowboys, especially this draft. Of the draft, this is something the team has not done in many years. The last time they made such move was back in 2012. Now, with more draft picks available after the trade involving Mick Parsons, the team finally has the power to make a bold move again. Report says that the owner, Jerry Jones, and his front office have identified 2 top players they are really like. These players are Caleb Downs and Ruben Bain Jr. Both players are considered elite talents and could become stars in NFL. However, there are some concerns. Caleb Downs has had injury worries, especially with his knee, while Ruben Bain Jr. has questions about his physical measurements. Even with these risks, the Cowboys might still take a chance because they need top talent on the defense. Now, let us talk about the biggest problem for the team right now, the linebacker position. After losing key players and dealing with the injuries, the Cowboys are left with very limited option. One of the few reliable players is Demarshon Overshawn, but even he has not full taken control of the defense yet. This brings us to an important role called the green dot. This is a player who communicates with the coaches during the game and tells the rest of the defense what to do. Usually this role is given to linebacker because they stand in the middle of the defense and can see everything clearly. Right now, the Cowboys do not have a clear leader for this role, which is a big concern. There is an interesting idea being discussed right now. Could a safety take this responsibility? The Cowboys recently added Jalen Thompson, and he is known for being smart and experienced. Some people believe he could handle the green dot role. However, this is not a perfect solution because safeties do not always play close to the line of the scrimmage. That makes communication more difficult during fast plays. So, while it is possible, it may not be the best option for the team. Because of this, the Cowboys are also looking at free agents. One name that stands out is Bobu Okeleke. He is a proven player with years of experience. He has made many tackles in his career and has already handled the green dot role before. Bringing in a veteran like him could help to stabilize the defense and provide the leadership that the team currently lacks. But the Cowboys are not only focusing on linebackers, they are also looking closely at the cornerback position. Defense in today's NFL requires flexibility, and having strong cornerbacks is very important. One player getting a lot of attention is Ovion Tyrell from the Clemson. He recently had a meeting with the Cowboys, which shows serious interest from the team. Tyrell is seen as a player who can solve multiple problems. Even though he is not the biggest player, he is very quick and can play different roles, including nickel corner. This is important because the Cowboys want to keep Dallon Bland on the outside, where he performs best. Coaches believes Brand can shut down one side of the field, so adding a strong nickel corner would make the defense more competent. However, there are still concerns about Tyrell's health. He had a hamstring injury that prevented him from finishing workouts early. The Cowboys are carefully studying this situation before making a final decision. Health is